if you want to call out for Chinese tonight, get some Chinese takeout, you might be able to get a little bit more than just Mugu Gaipan. Hello everybody, Tim here. Welcome to the Triple T channel. I'm so glad you're here. Before I get to what we're talking about today, if you would do me a real quick favor and subscribe to the channel down below, give this video a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. There's some more links down below if you'd like to say thank you for the content that I've got. You can buy me a coffee down below. Now, this story comes from a website called the AmericanMilitaryNews.com, and when I first heard about it, it just blew my mind. I could not hardly believe what I was reading and hearing about. But according to the American Military News, there is a secret Chinese drug operation that is in the state of Maine, the U.S. state of Maine, of all places, that is funneling cash to China. A federal memorandum distributed to Border Patrol shows illegal Chinese marijuana cultivation operations are thriving in the state of Maine. The memorandum, which was obtained by the Daily Caller and distributed to Border Patrol in July, notes that law enforcement identified 270 properties suspected of illegal Chinese marijuana cultivation operations in Maine. Estimates showed that the illegal Chinese operations could generate $4.37 billion in revenue. According to the federal law enforcement officer, he said, we think the Chinese are taking advantage of rural areas like Maine to produce marijuana and sell across state lines and funnel the profits back to China. The law enforcement source claimed that the illegal marijuana operations are typically organized by Chinese nationals who have asylum claims or resident status in the United States, which prevents them from being removed from the U.S. According to the Daily Caller, the memo also included a heat map that highlights the extent of illegal Chinese marijuana growth operations which produce revenue for China. There's no deterrence, Derek Maltz, former DEA head of Special Operations Division, said. Criminals are masters at taking advantage of the vulnerabilities. Now, marijuana was legalized by voters in Maine in 2016, which was followed by the legalization of recreational marijuana sales in 2020. However, the state's Office of Cannabis Policy still outlines specific regulations for the cultivation and sale of marijuana. And it was recently reported that authorities discovered an illegal marijuana operation in Bangor, Maine, with 111 pounds of processed marijuana and 3,400 marijuana plants. There are hundreds of these operations occurring throughout the state, Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton told the Daily Caller. It's upsetting to those who live near these operations, and even those who are following Maine laws and procedures. The memo provided to Border Patrol indicated about 749 properties that are associated with people linked to marijuana operations in Maine and Washington state. Officials noted that the illegal Chinese operations are often associated with Mexican cartels. They take the cash from the cartels in America and they buy these properties and they do these investments with cash from the Mexican cartels in our own country, Maltz said. This is part of their laundering scheme. Can you believe it? Have you got all that? So we have Chinese nationals in the United States growing and selling pot and sending the money back to China. You know, it's every day my mind gets blown, it seems, by something that's going on in the United States. This is not necessarily about pot. I know pot has been legalized in a lot of states. I don't use it, but I'm not on a soapbox about the usage of pot. In Maine, the sale of pot apparently is legal now, at least the recreational use of pot. But this is something in another dimension. This is next level, okay? This is Chinese nationals selling pot and sending it back to China. What is at the heart of the issue here It always comes back to this, it seems. We have such a porous border in the United States that there is no way we can keep track, A, of who's in our country, and B, what they're doing while they're in our country. And look at what these people are doing, the Chinese nationals, growing and selling pot and sending it back to China. Now, how long do you think we can exist as a nation as long as things like this are going on? Here is what I believe firmly, and nobody's ever going to change my mind about this. If you don't have a border, my friends, you don't have a nation, and it is as simple as that. You've heard the expression, perhaps, good fences make for good neighbors. Well, it's true, and you can't have a nation without protecting your borders. It's as simple as that. If you're going to have a nation, you've got to have some commonality with the citizens who live in that nation. America is so divided and so diverse in so many different ways. We're so disjointed as a nation. There's not much national unity in our land as there once was, because we have so many different ideas and ideals and so many different sets of morality and so many different nationalities. Now, recent political leaders, presidents, some have addressed the topic of illegal immigration. Trump was very good about illegal immigration. His successor is pitiful about the matter. What is happening at the southern border especially is just an absolute debacle, an absolute outrage, an embarrassment. It is utter lawlessness. And Biden cares more about what's happening in Ukraine and their border. He just doesn't give a damn about the American border. It's as simple as that. And we continue to be inundated and flooded with people from all over the world. We don't know who's coming, and we don't know what their intentions are. But this always comes back to immigration. There was a time in America, not that long ago, when an American president did not just shut down illegal immigration, he shut down immigration, period. Now, if you said that today, if a president said that today, he'd be laughed out of town, at least. I'm not anti-people, but I tell you what, if you're going to have a nation, you got to have the right kind of people. You've got to have people who, somewhat align themselves with the ideals that are presented in America, but nobody knows what we believe anymore. Nobody knows what we stand for anymore. There was a time earlier in the last century, in the 1800s, where people from Ireland and Poland and Germany and all of Western Europe, they would come to, in Italy, they would come to America, to New York, to Ellis Island. They loved America. They loved the idea of coming to America and working hard and pursuing the American dream, becoming Americans, becoming citizens who contributed to their nations, coming over here and working hard and building a business and raising their family. They made for great citizens, great Italian citizens, great Polish citizens. We have great communities in our nation that are filled with people like this. At least they were. But it's not that way anymore, in large part. Now we have people coming who mean harm to America. They're not coming to America to give back and to pursue freedom and to obey our laws. Now they're coming to pillage and to do harm and to wreak havoc. And meanwhile, our political leaders just sit on their hands doing nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. And now we have this. Chinese nationals growing pot in an American state. It's just mind-blowing to me. And this is what I've been saying in previous videos when it comes to the southern border. We don't know who's coming across our border. It's not just Mexicans or Guatemalans or Hondurans. It could be drug cartels. It could be gang members. It could be Chinese nationals. It could be anybody. Anybody. It's got to end somewhere, or we're going to lose our nation. Hey, give me your thoughts down below. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. Chime in and give me your comments. You're not necessarily an American that's watching this. Many of you are. Many of you are from all over the world. But what I'm saying is true for your country as well. If you live in Italy, it's true. You've got to have some immigration policies. You've got to. You can't maintain law and order in your nation or any sense of being an Italian or a German or a Pole or an American. You've got to have your identity, your national identity. There's nothing wrong with that. But it starts with putting an end to illegal immigration in your nation. Hey, thanks for watching this wonderful Saturday morning. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to fire up my brand new grill sometime today and give that thing a workout. Take care, everybody. Trailer Trash Tim, have a good one. I will see you tomorrow.